Hello and welcome to the live ceremony reading, little meditation and ritual that we're going to be doing for the upcoming lunar eclipse in Pisces. This is going to be happening on Friday, the 28th at 12:18 p.m. in the afternoon. This is Australian Western Standard Time, so make sure you adjust it for wherever you are in the world. It's a big one, guys. So before we get into it, I'm just going to read the card that I pulled today. Says trust the fall. So allow yourself to take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out, get comfortable so that you can settle in and just start to receive everything that we're going to be speaking about. In the free fall, the earth slips away. I know not what is to come. Grounded in faith, I hold the invisible hand. When the earth seems far away from my feet, anxiety awakens within me. I second guess my instincts and poor choices are made. I become shaken and unreliable. Where is my ground? Fear lives in the unknown future, in my worst case scenario. I suffer in my mind, imagining what is to come. When I root myself into the reality of the present moment, I can clearly differentiate that which I can control from that which I cannot. When I release my fixation on the negative potential, I begin to believe in the positive possibilities. Trust the process. There is no certainty in this life. When you feel the mystery looming beneath you, you have the choice to persevere and hold tight to that which you feel is steadfast, or to surrender your grip and allow yourself to fall into a new reality in faith that life will catch you. Take one more deep breath and just allow yourself to receive whatever it is that you needed to receive from that. As we move straight into explaining the astrology. So here we have a chart for the exact moment when the lunar eclipse is going to be upon us. And this is a big eclipse. Eclipses bring us massive beginnings and massive endings, and they're quite electric energy. They happen 2 times a year. We get a solar and a lunar eclipse, so on a new moon solar and a full moon lunar eclipse. And they are really big times in of transformation and transition. And often they hit us a little bit sideways. The energy feels quite electric. Often we can feel this sense of, I am ungrounded. So that message of having faith and finding your ground and trusting that it's all working out is really beautiful for what it is that eclipses represent. Eclipses bounce between two areas of our chart, between two signs, for roughly a 2-year period. And this one is quite big. Not only is it a lunar eclipse, so full moon, so we're hitting the culmination point, the height of the full moon, the height of what has been happening. It is also the final chapter in this story that's been playing out since September 2024. This is when we had the very first Pisces eclipse. And so, as much as there is this culmination, like I'm seeing the full picture, or I will see the full picture of what's been going on and playing out in my life over the last couple of years, it's also the wrapping up. It's also the ending point. It's like this, we're putting an exclamation mark, we're putting a full stop, we're putting the end on this chapter. So this is happening in Pisces. Let me see if I can get my mouse working. So this is happening in Pisces. If you can see down the bottom here, The moon is at 4 degrees, and we can see the sun over here, which always happens on a full moon, at 4 degrees up the top of the chart. If you don't know where this is happening for you, I highly recommend heading to the description. I will leave my free aligned astrology workbook in there, and that will, or actually, I'll leave a link to a video where you can actually look up your birth chart. And the aligned astrology workbook, I'll leave that there too, so you can discover a little bit more about where this is all happening for you. And I always highly recommend, and if you haven't done this already, because we're at this final point, I recommend starting it, especially for the next eclipse season, is keeping an eclipse journal somewhere on your phone, a notebook, and just write down like what the hell was happening around the eclipse in my life. Because as you look back to that period, you'll start to see a story unfold. And so for me, I've been doing this for the last couple of years. I know exactly what is unfolding. Now, eclipse energy, this is near the North Node, which you can see is 29 degrees Aquarius right here. And it's happening near the North Node, and it's also happening near this little symbol here, which is Paripus. And this tells us that the moon is the closest to the Earth it's going to be at the cycle that it's moving around. So when the moon is like super close to the Earth, we feel things more intensely. So this might be emotional. I mean, it's in Pisces, so we get that water sign, that emotional lens anyway. That happens with a full moon anyway, plus the eclipse, plus this is extra close. Plus, this is a big culmination and ending point. So there's a lot going on here. But when things happen near a North Node, it can be a point of really where we are feeling a hunger, an insatiability. There's like a need that we feel like we almost can't satisfy. It's like, I have to. And so sometimes there's a need to balance that. And there's this want, this want to have emergence with whatever this is, like to merge with it, which is very apt for Pisces energy. I want to merge with everything. I want to merge with this moment. I want to embody and experience this fully. And as we start to talk about everything that's going on in the sky and how I'm kind of looking at the energy here, we can start to understand what we're being drawn into. The North Node here and a lot of other things in the sky, where the moon is, it's really asking us to come into this sense of community. There is this piece that we're being asked to come into and embody, is that like my own innate gifts, the way that I shine in the world, Leo, right? The opposite here is important. But I don't need to outshine others, and others don't need to outshine me. There is a space in this world where I am completely 100% authentically myself, not hiding one thing, because I know who I am and I'm standing powerfully in that. I'm standing true in that. And I'm allowing that to be a part of the whole. If everyone just fully stood in their own authenticity with zero insecurity, zero shadow content, zero fear, we would be able to all just co-create and communicate and be in community with another without feeling less than. And so this moon is asking us to come into community, to asking us to be ourselves in community, to really bring this sacred element into the collective, into the whole. It's time to come together. There is a big piece of this moon as well, and this time and this energy, where we're really being asked to overcome greed, to overcome, like, why we're greedy. Why do we get greedy? For what? Because we feel less than, because we're living in scarcity, we're living in fear. They've got more than me. We're living in comparison. We're living in not even insecurity financially, but an insecurity in ourselves. And so I think we will see a big unfolding on this eclipse of people that are in power position, greedy people. Like, things are going to happen with people that represent greed in the world, and our own greed, and where we're controlled societally by freaking greed and consumerism. Like, what am I trying to get in the greed? When I buy things insatiably, what am I trying to fill? What void am I trying to fill here? And there's a piece here with Mercury that really will show us this. Like, where are we distracting ourselves? Like, what are we distracting ourselves with? Greed, with consumerism, maybe? That, like, what void are we trying to fill here? Where are we staying on in these old wounds and these karmic cycles to avoid what it is we're really trying to fill with this sense of greed? And so this is going to happen individually for us, but also, I believe, collectively. So with eclipses, it's kind of like we can't really see what's going on, and then boom, we see what's going on. So there's this element of surprise. There's this element of, shit, I wasn't really expecting that. And when we listen to things like this, we can start to really be ahead of the curve of what's coming up here. Why am I feeling this way? What is this asking of me? And start to be conscious and aware and work with the energy, rather than getting kind of sideswiped from it, rather than getting this harsh, like, slap on the face with it. So you may be feeling this energy already. And if you're very sensitive, like me, I'm already starting to feel this energy. But this is kind of what we're being challenged on and asked to come into, to realize that there's mutual benefit in community, that we all belong, that we can, that philanthropic kind of attitude, we all get to benefit. When we're secure in ourselves, we give freely and we allow ourselves to receive freely. There is no give and take. There is no less or more than. There is just this beautiful reciprocity with life. And that is something we're being asked to anchor and to see within ourselves, and to really work on the wounds that come up around that. This is a big time for spiritual transformation. We have Pluto down here in Aquarius and Neptune over here in Aries that are making a beautiful sextile here. So there's this opportunity for deep spiritual transformation and to see a higher viewpoint if we work with all of these little wounds that are coming up. The biggest thing that's happening under this moon is that, or eclipse, I should say, is that it's squaring Uranus. Now, eclipses have that Uranus awakening, unexpected, destabilizing energy anyway. But when they square, which is a harsh aspect with Uranus, which is asking us to awaken, asking us actually to go really deep within ourselves and uncover the secrets, uncover these wounds that I've been talking about, to, like, really take the risk of looking at the depths of our soul. And in that, we get this really massive, like, quest for knowledge of ourselves, to understand ourselves, to, like, really dig deep in the dark and look for that and really understand that, like Gemini, really mentally, like, understand that, embody that, so that we get off that karmic wheel of distraction that we see ourselves in, to take the risk and do the healing work, so that we can come to this level of sovereignty, of spiritual transformation, of awakening, and of awareness within us. And so this might feel challenging. You might see some hard truths in yourself through this, and that's okay. We all have this stuff. As a collective, like I was talking about before, we are a part of the whole. So we can sit in judgment of the people that are greedy in the world, but we also hold part of that within us. So the more we do the work on that, the more we're willing to look at that within ourselves, where this lives within ourselves, and alchemize that and heal that and come into a higher spiritual truth with that, to merge with that shadow part in order to heal it rather than push it away and hide it. Well, then we're illuminated, we're awakened, and we move into this higher level of consciousness that this is asking for us to step into under this eclipse season. Not to mention everything that's been going on for the last couple of years for us in this area. So then what else have we got going on? We have another little challenging aspect between Saturn and Mars here. So this can often feel like, Mars can feel like, I want to go, let's go for it, let's do it. I've got to move, I have to move. There's this drive, this ambition. And then Saturn's like, whoa, hold your horses, stop. And there's blocks. So if you're feeling amongst all this energy and what I've been talking about, this push pull with go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, that's happening, and we're moving into that over the coming couple of weeks. And so you might feel this energy, and this can often lead to this sense of burnout as well. And again, eclipses, they heighten the nervous system. They can feel this energy of burnout almost, of stress almost, and this highlights that a little bit more. So please take time under this eclipse season. There's no big rituals that need to be done. We don't do these big rituals under eclipse season. The energy's too hectic and chaotic, and don't put your crystals out under this full moon. Just be, ground. This is what this is about: grounding, 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 doing the inner work. So you might feel that energy. And the other thing that's here is that Saturn. So Saturn can also bring us, in a positive aspect, responsibility and refinement, and ask us to really put boundaries in place and just get really clear and practical and responsible around things. It's also retrograde. So we are in a revision period, a refinement period of all this Saturn energy right now, but it's making a positive aspect to Jupiter. And think of Jupiter as expansion, abundance, all of this spiritual awakening, heightened knowledge of ourselves that I've been talking about. I want you to think of that with Jupiter, and it's right next to Lilith, not Black Moon Lilith, but the Lilith asteroid. And this is an awakening moment as well. This is I will not be controlled. I will not be owned by anyone else. And I am coming into my spiritual sovereignty. And so, what practically do I need to refine in myself to be responsible about in order to do that? So time to get responsible. Saturn can be beautiful energy when we look at it from that, because we take a deep level of responsibility in ourselves. So that's a lot. That's a lot to think of. Listen to this as much as you need, because the more you do this, the more you are going to grasp things and see things that you need underneath this moon. And I highly recommend you come back and listen to this again and again and again, leading up to and particularly on the moon. So the eclipse, the moon, the eclipse. So now I want to move you guys into a little bit more of an embodied moment, a dropped in moment. So I like to ask some journaling questions, some journaling prompts, and I'm going to take you through a little meditation. So again, you can come back to this again and again and again as you need to. So let's take a nice collective breath together. Let's close down the eyes, breathe in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, letting all of that heady stuff that we just talked about land in the body a little bit more. And as it lands in the body, as you tune in, I'm going to ask these questions that you can continue to reflect on. What cycle am I finally ready to complete? What's been coming to completion that potentially started in September of 2024? What cycle Am I finally ready to complete what's coming to completion? Take a nice deep breath and let the answers just land within you. What am I being awakened to and asked to look at this time that I've been using distraction to avoid? Breathe with that. Let that land and just ask yourself, where do I use distraction to avoid? Where do I use busyness, work, social media, drugs, alcohol, food? What do I use to avoid, to fill that void? And if I could let that go for a moment, what am I really being awakened to and asked to look at right now? Take another deep breath and just let that land for you. Where do I feel controlled in my life? And what do I feel controlled by? And maybe this is collective systems, maybe it's by person, or maybe it's by your own sabotaging ways, your own beliefs, limiting beliefs. Where do I feel controlled? And what would sovereignty look like if I was really able to take the risk to dive deep within myself and discover what this is truly about? Take a deep breath with that. Where does not enough live within me? Where does lack live within me? Breathe that, maybe literally feel where that is in the body. Where does not enough live within me and within my life? Where do I act and react from not enough? Take another deep breath. How can I transform any sort of greed that lives within me? And what is at the core of this greed? Take another deep breath. Maybe just recognizing that not enoughness is at the core of that. And can I receive as willingly as I give? Can I give as willingly as I receive? Take another deep breath. Exhale. Come back to these questions whenever you need. But right now, I want you to continue to breathe as we just go on a little journey. And I want you to feel yourself now leaning up against a great big tree. Feel your back up against a tree. Feel your sit bones on the earth. And in your visualization, or maybe if you're sitting down right now, put your hands on the earth. Feel the earth. And allow yourself to feel the grounding of the earth, the stability of the earth and of the tree that you're leaning against. And as you connect with the earth and the tree, I want you to visualize the root system of this tree. Visualize the roots of this tree. And as you visualize the roots of this tree, we ask for the love of Mother Earth to come and rise up through the roots of this tree and to just be shared with us. And so with every breath, I want you to breathe in the energy of this tree and the unconditional love that is being pulled up through the root system of this tree now. Breathe it into the backside of your body as you're leaning up against this tree. Feel it seeping into the backside of your chakras, and allow the backside of your body and your chakras from the very top of your head all the way to the very tip of your spine to receive now this love, this nourishment, this support. Really breathe that in. Really allow yourself to feel that energy and that frequency from that. And allow your nervous system to relax as you breathe this in. And with every exhale, maybe allowing yourself to let out a little sigh. And any energy that has felt unstable or scattered at this time, as we lead up to this eclipse, let it be grounded now. Let it be supported now as you breathe, as you deeply receive. And as you deeply receive now and come into this state of calm from receiving from this tree, let that energy that you've received start to be shared now with your exhale. What you've just received from this tree, let this simply be sent out around you with the exhale. On the inhale, we receive, and on the exhale, we share. And actually, the trees receive the carbon dioxide from our breath and they transform it back into oxygen. And so there is this constant sacred reciprocity and sharing that happens with the trees. And so I want you to see this beautiful exchange of energy. Visualize it however you need to see it, or maybe you just feel it. Feel yourself receiving from this tree and feel the tree receiving from you. And I want you to notice how there's no story of lack, how there's no giving or taking. Am I taking too much? Am I worthy of this? Do I need to give more? Do I need to prove myself? Notice how there's no greed here. There's no story of that. It's just this beautiful giving and receiving, this sacred reciprocity. Notice how there's an ease with this, a breathing in and a breathing out. It just is. It happens naturally with every breath. With every breath we breathe, and with every breath we receive, and with every exhale we share. Naturally, effortlessly. So let that happen. And as this happens, as this sacred exchange happens with this tree that you're leaning against right now, I want you to allow yourself to just sense, to feel, to know, or to let any stories, any limiting beliefs, anything that you've gathered from the collective, from childhood, around giving and receiving, around greed, around lack, around scarcity, around not enough, around us versus them, anything that keeps you separate from the community or puts you in a state of competition, around resources, around money, around energy, around time. Let that just come to the surface for you now. And as you focus on the breath, that breathing in, that breathing out, that natural sacred reciprocity with the tree, just let it be alchemized. Give it over. With your breath, share these wounds, these untruths, these old stories that you've adopted, that have been wired within you. Just breathe them out now with the exhale. Let them go. Allow this tree to take this from you as it does your carbon dioxide, and let it take it all the way down into the earth, and let it be purified now by the earth. Let it be grounded by the earth and purified into something true, something new. Truth, divine truth, not the truth of the ego, not the truth of the shadows and the old patterns, but real truth. Let it be infused with the truth of sacred reciprocity, and that you are cared for and that there's abundance everywhere. And as you inhale, receive that new consciousness, that new energy from the tree. And just let that land deeply inside of your body as you slowly let go of scarcity and lack and greed and insecurity and all of that not enoughness, and start to tune into the abundance that is within you and all around you. And as you breathe now and you just receive that from the tree, I want you to turn your attention down into the root system. And I want you to see the root system of this tree. And I want you to see all the other trees around you in this space that you're in. So many trees. And I want you to see how the roots of the trees connect with all the other trees. They're all interconnected together. And you are alchemizing this and being supported by so much more than you think you are. And so as you receive this new consciousness of abundance, of truth, of worthiness and enoughness, share that with your breath now out to your root system, energetically, to your family, to humanity. And realize that we can all be together as one. No separation, no need. See how easy it is to connect with another when we just allow this effortless exchange, knowing that we will never go without, knowing that there's not one person better or worse than us, and that we all have unique gifts to share. And as we work as a whole together, everything flows and everything gets taken care of. Stay with this as long as you need. Come back to this when we hit the height of the eclipse to receive and be grounded again. And if you love this, make sure you like, you subscribe, and I will see you next time.